NFL Live, ESPN, we are talking Lamar Jackson and his poor performance. There was a lot to be concerned about if you are a Ravens fan or if you're just a fan of Lamar Jackson. Here's what I think happened. Lamar and Todd Monken is a brand new relationship. Todd Monken is the offensive coordinator, for all of you that do not know that. Fun fact, Todd Monken was the coach of Southern Mississippi, my alma mater. Boom. There's a little 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon there. The biggest concern I would have if I was a Ravens fan or a Lamar Jackson fan or whatever is that he only had 2 designed runs. I'm concerned that Todd Monken or Lamar Jackson, or a combination of the two, I'm concerned that they are too pass heavy, that they're too heavy into this prove he can pass or make this a passing offense. You've got a guy who is maybe, you know what? Controversial yet brave. I was going to say probably, but I'm going to confirm this. Who is probably the greatest running quarterback to ever live? Specifically on design runs. The Ravens are dangerous when he's getting those design runs, specifically on 4th down, 3rd and short, things like that. You can't get away from that to prove that he's a passer. You can't make the Ravens offense something that it's not. I think Lamar is a great passer. I'm one of the ones who fiercely defends him as a passer. But that doesn't mean you need to sacrifice his greatest asset, his ability to run on design runs. Don't sacrifice that just to prove he can pass.
Second half was a lot better than the first half. I just think it's going to, like, people with the question was, is it going to work? He's got to get back to trusting the timing of a pass game when it comes to how important his feet are, and Hawk knows this, with the pass concept and or the route.
I'm fascinated. I know I'm supposed to say nothing, but I don't give a damn. Dan, how long do you think this is going to take, bro? Like, we in the regular season, how long do you think before that can come to fruition?
I mean, that's a good question, because when you have a offensive coordinator who's new to the NFL, who was coaching at Georgia last year, and now he's got Lamar Jackson, I mean, that's going to take some time. I would think being an offensive coordinator for Georgia and having Stetson Bennett as your quarterback, and then all of a sudden having to figure out the puzzle piece that is Lamar Jackson, that is certainly going to take some time. And it's going to take time for Lamar to get used to Todd Monken. 1 week, and you know when would have been, I almost just had a stroke there. You know what would have been a good time to figure all this stuff out? Anybody? In the back? In the comment section? The preseason. But that didn't happen, did it? No, it didn't. Because all of a sudden in the NFL, nobody wants to play in the preseason. Starters don't play at all. And how did those starters look in week 1? Anybody? In the back? In the comment section? They didn't look good. I think it might be time where starters start playing in preseason a little bit more, because week 1 looked like preseason for a lot of these quarterbacks who didn't play in the preseason. Ask Joe Burrow. How did it look? Did he look rusty? Did he look like he was kind of getting up to the speed of things? Yeah, it did. It certainly did. So I think what Lamar and Todd Monken are working through right now, they probably could have worked through already, or at least be further ahead. But they're working through this in front of our eyes. Not to mention, Lamar's dealing with a lot of new receivers. Right? Mark Andrews wasn't there. Mark Andrews has been hurt. There's a lot going on with the Baltimore offense. So it's not as simple as Monken, Lamar. It's not as simple as they have to get on the same page, then we'll be good to go. There's a lot of moving pieces in Baltimore.
Marcus, I think it's going to take probably 4 to 6 weeks of really feeling
6 weeks is
really
a long time.
Because until, like, the first clip, Marcus, he's got to have a little bit slower feet to kind of marry that pass concept. The ball would come out because he's looking the right way. The slant to Odell, he's getting that versus press man. He's got to know that the ball, when Odell wins,
I think 6 might be a lot.
It's going to take a little longer and maybe wider enough. You win now, he's got to get and have the ball ready to come out of his hands now. I just think he's got to get in game reps with that. Remember, no preseason. Better in the second half.
There it is, Dan. There it is.
Really fast, Marcus, just so
ahead,
that you can think about this, we're talking 4 to 6 weeks. I'm looking at their schedule. So they have the Bengals this week in Cincinnati, then the Colts, then the Browns, and the Steelers.
They'll see a lot of man coverage.
Titans.
Baltimore's got a lot of problems right now, a lot of injuries, a lot of that going on. But if we're focusing, they're 4-point dogs, 3.5-point dogs to the Bengals, which sounds like a lot, but with the injuries, it is what it is. They have to get healthy first. That's the main thing for Baltimore. They have to get healthy first. But as far as Lamar, I have a sneaky feeling a lot of what we're seeing is rust. And a lot of what we're seeing is he hasn't played. And a lot of what we're seeing is just him getting back to that game speed. Now, in 4 weeks, really in 3 weeks, as far as like week 3. In week 3, if he still looks like this, then there might be a problem. There might be a Monk and Lamar issue. But I would go back. The one thing you need to watch for is those design runs. Because if he keeps getting 1 design run, 2 design run a game, that is a schematic issue. That is a philosophical issue that would not be good, I don't think, for the Ravens.
After that, go ahead, Swag.
Well, fortunately, he has a superpower in his legs, so he can get by with it. Here's the thing for me when it comes to Lamar, the total difference from what he was doing offensively, and we talked about that with Todd Monken, and this is the answer. I wonder if it's any recall from his time at Louisville that he can kind of lean back into when he had Petrino and be in this system and get back to that timing. But right now, you saw him struggle with pressure. The one thing that concerns me, Dan, is we saw him struggle with pressure in Roman's offense.
Every quarterback's going to struggle with pressure. Every quarterback is going to struggle, or most quarterbacks, I guess I should say, are going to struggle in a pressure situation or when there is pressure. And I'm not talking about like a high pressure moment. I'm talking about defensive pressure in the pocket. That is something that Lamar probably will. If he has struggled with that in his whole career, he's going to continue to struggle with it. It's just going to be who he is at this point. But he has had major success despite of that, right? So I would be less concerned with that, and I'd be much more concerned with this style of offense, because a lot of the times we think about just the player. But I always wonder, when you have an offensive coordinator coming in, like Todd Monken is, that's pretty tough. I certainly have never done it, but I would assume that fast turnaround, getting used to the NFL, getting used to who all these new players are, getting used to who all these new defenses are, that just seems really, really tricky. It seems really hard to say, I was doing this at Georgia with these players. Now I have to go do this in Baltimore. I've got to learn my entire roster. I've got to learn how they play, how they operate, because they've been doing this for a while. I have an MVP quarterback. Oh, and I've got to learn the defenses of all the teams I'm facing to make my offense succeed. It seems like that's a really, really hard challenge. So we may be seeing some growing pains from Monken combined with some rust from Lamar, which is just kind of the perfect storm for a kind of lackadaisical offense.
As well at times. So I just want to see how long that's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would assume, or I'd be shocked if this week 2, I'd be shocked if we don't see Lamar run more. And I mean designed. I mean, get back to that kind of what the Ravens have been doing. I don't think Todd Monken was brought in to change the Ravens. I don't think he was brought in to change Lamar Jackson. Lamar, unanimous MVP. Very successful. We know what he can do. This isn't a team that needed a huge change. What they need is to get healthy. They need to get healthy. And, another part of it, too, with Lamar, he went through a really unique offseason with a contract dispute, holding out, or however you want to phrase it, possibly getting traded, possibly he's thinking, will I even be in Baltimore? All of a sudden you're back in Baltimore. All of a sudden there's a new offensive coordinator. All of a sudden you also now have like Odell Beckham. You have just random new players. Then there's some injuries. Mark Andrews, the second best tight end in the NFL. He's down, so your security blanket's gone. You haven't played football at all. You haven't played any preseason, so you're trying to with new players and a new coach and all that stuff, that's what I think is plaguing the Ravens. But this week, we will see designed runs. That's what I want to look for with the Baltimore Ravens offense. Or is this just how Todd Monken is going to do it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Should we be concerned with Lamar Jackson's week 1 performance? Or is this just a little whoopsie poopsie, a little rust, and he'll be back to the MVP level that we know and love? Let me know below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.